there's a lot of inflationary pressure, meaning things are getting more expensive. Housing, food, services, gasoline, you name it. And the cause for that is the pandemic, but it's really how much money was pushed into the economy at one time. And it gave more and more people buying power, driving up the ability to purchase goods, services, assets, etc. But now that money is getting kind of pulled back from the system, and it's going to cause a squeeze on businesses. And of course, the general public is going to probably get squeezed the worst. The good thing about what happens here is even though that you're exposed to inflationary changes in Colombia, at least wages are fixed to the US dollar, which could be good and bad, because if the US dollar starts to slide, then it gets it gets worse. Right now, the dollar is really strong, so that's good. If the dollar starts to soften because things go haywire in the United States, then it's not going to be so good. But one of the main reasons for me to have staff and people working outside the United States is because it's a great savings compared to having employees in the States. But I wanted to talk about wages and wage increases in a very generalized way, because I think it's a good story to tell on social media, because I think most people don't know how to negotiate their raises and properly, especially speaking to the direct business owner. I had an employee at Avalanche, 4 years ago, who somehow got convinced to set a meeting with me to kind of negotiate rate increases. And that meeting didn't go so well. Not because of I wasn't willing to give a raise or anything like that, but just her argument didn't make any sense. And I was trying to walk her through how she should be thinking about it. And all she thought was that I was trying to tell her no. And that wasn't the case. I actually was trying to get her to think and be able to really communicate why the wages should increase, other than I feel they should, right? That's not a good argument, because I could always say I feel that they shouldn't. But anyway, I want to talk about how I think about wages and how I would like the staff to think about wages. Ultimately, I'm 100% a capitalist at heart. I want to make as much money as I possibly can, because I believe that money enables me to do what I want. That's a core philosophy of mine. That doesn't mean that I don't want the same for my employees. Like, there's a weird way of thinking about business owners in all societies that we're driven by greed and the top line, and that's it. We actually value that, and we would want our employees to value the same and our employees to make money. Actually, I sometimes struggle with, why do people want to be employees rather than to kind of go their own way? And I'm dependent on employees, but it's something that I encourage people to kind of make their own money. So the first thing that I want to say about wage increases, especially coming from ownership, an employee's wage increase is a decrease in my profits. That's a fact. If I pay people more, I personally make less. If I'm approached with a wage increase, that's my immediate thought. How is this affecting my company? How's it affecting me? How's it affecting the cash flow? Because that's what my business is for, to make me money. It doesn't mean that I don't want to give a raise, because again, I want people to make their money. But what employees need to understand is that that money needs to come from somewhere. No different than when people are mandating like minimum wage increases and the government agrees, the money has to come from somewhere. Otherwise, the person who's operating the business gets squeezed and squeezed to the point that they find it not worth it to be in business anymore, or that particular business. So when going into any sort of wage negotiation, you need to think of two things. How is this affecting the bottom line of the company? And since I know the main concern is the bottom line of the company, how do I present how my work is related to the bottom line of the company, and how the work that I do has increased the bottom line, either because of savings or because of adding additional capital. And the better you're able to communicate that to ownership, at least, like if you have like a middle manager, they're just working off a budget. They don't have control over anything, right? They're an employee just like you. But when you're negotiating with ownership or someone who has a direct benefit from the bottom line, speaking to the bottom line is going to make more sense to them above anything. So my overall policy around wages is I'm always going to be down for a wage increase if that conversation is coupled with how are you saving me money and how are you making me more money. And I will also talk with staff to show them how money is made within the company, how to think about generating more money so that our interests are aligned. So if I ever come back with like some sort of rebuttal to a wage increase, that rebuttal is really to get you thinking about the bottom line of the company. Because if I'm making more money, I'll happily pay people more money. If I'm going to end up making less money, naturally I'm going to be resistant to that, just like you would be resistant to making less money. And I always try to encourage you to think from the owner's perspective. Imagine the owner coming to you and saying, hey, I would like to pay you less. That's not going to fly. But for the owner, it's the same thing. You're coming to them and saying, I would like for you to make less money to pay me more. You benefit, I lose. So that's always going to be potentially a point of friction. So if you are interested in having higher wages, you have to become more valuable to the company. In the United States, the average salary, based on what I was looking up yesterday, is $60,000 a year. And that's what, $5,000 a month. Now I know for sure $5,000 a month here is a really good lifestyle. And as a business owner that has employees in the United States, obviously I'm able to pay higher wages there as well. And that's the expectation there. But you guys are doing the same work. Obviously I'm employing you because it's cheaper. But if you are actually more productive and more valuable to me than a US resource, and our visions are aligned with increasing the bottom line, then those wages are possible because we're drawing our income from the US. And that's one of the benefits of working here. Everything is in US dollars. All of our business is in the United States. So if you land a customer, for example, for On Time, when we land a customer, we charge a $900 onboarding fee. That's about 1 month's salary here. That onboarding fee doesn't change anything for me. It's actually money that I keep in the business just to spend down on other things. It doesn't change my lifestyle any, but it could drastically change people's lifestyles here. In home healthcare, one patient to me is worth anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 depending on hours, right? Is the value of that patient. So to have a compensation plan that's aligned with securing more patients is in line with how much, it's going to make me more money, but then that's something that directly can make you more money because you're attacking the thing that makes me money. So I want to start getting the groups thinking in that way, like really being transparent with this is how much this activity is worth to the company. And this is, if we hit certain milestones or things like converting a customer, that's direct. Okay, you convert this customer, there's this onboarding fee, this percentage of that onboarding fee is yours, fine. But if it's something that's like a lifetime value thing, you could also attach bonuses to that. I would totally be on board with saying, build out this arm of healthcare staffing and we profit share this percentage on all the business that you build. I have no problem doing that because I'm going to make money. You're going to make money. And it may even incentivize you to actually say, hey, here's an opportunity for me to build out this thing that can ultimately make me passive income. Because if you say, I'll need one HR person, one coordinator, and with that, I could manage 10 contracts. And on those 10 contracts, that should make about $500,000 a year. We could have a real conversation about how much of that $500,000 profit can go to you and really take ownership of building that thing out while having the support financially and the infrastructure to do so. And that's the sort of way that I want you guys to think. I don't want anybody to think I'm just an employee working towards a wage. You all have the ability to earn more in the company if you align yourself with the things that make the company more money. I'm always down for that, right? Veronica, for example, she's not here, but we added a new service and she's in charge of that service. Every client that we take on, she gets a pretty nice split directly from that. And we just established that consulting company and she's getting an equity position in that company in the overall outcome of it. Why? Because she's directly working towards the bottom line. So those are the sort of relationships that I want to have with all employees in the company. Not everybody is like that. Like some people just want to do their job and that's it. But if you certainly want to earn more money, the opportunity is here. And it's really to just align yourself and say, hey, what activities are money making activities? What activities are money burning activities? How much do things really cost? And I'm an open book to say, this is what it is. And if we can brainstorm and say, hey, we're going to try this or do more of this that I know works, then we have the potential to increase your income as much as you're willing to push. I don't want anybody to kind of be afraid of saying, hey, I would love to make more money here. I would love the same, right? For you and for me, right? So if our conversations are, how can we make more money? How can we provide better services to our clients? Is there anything that we're missing? And everybody's thinking about that thing, everybody wins. That's more or less what I want to speak on. And we'll have separate conversations because it's obviously different businesses and different ideas that I have personally, but you may have ideas and you may see opportunities that I don't see because of the interactions that you're having with clients or the interactions that you're having with customers. If you can identify a problem in any business, there's the potential to make money. Because if you come up with a solution that most likely serves the company internally, and any other company like that company may have the same problem. Now that we first can prove it in our organization and show that it saved money or made more money, and then we can turn around and sell that idea or sell that system to somebody else. So I really want you guys to think about things in that way. And I want you guys to start thinking about things like your freedom number or your ideal number or how much money you would like to make. And then we could talk about what we need to design as a company to get to that point.